Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went in there? Or struggled to recall the name of a person you just met, even though you remember what they were wearing, what they said, everything else about them? If that sounds familiar, please know you're not alone. Memory slip-ups like these can feel frustrating, even a little scary sometimes, especially after 70, when we begin to wonder, is this just normal aging? Or something more? But here's the good news. Memory loss is not an inevitable part of getting older, and there's a lot more you can do to protect your brain than you might think. In fact, many people in their 70s, 80s, even 90s are staying mentally sharp, active, and independent because they've made a few smart, simple changes in their daily habits. And that's what we're going to talk about together today. This isn't about complicated brain exercises or expensive supplements. This is about gentle, doable things that fit naturally into your life and support your memory, clarity, and focus for years to come. Things you can start right now. Let's begin with something surprisingly powerful. How you move your body. You see, many people think brain health is all about puzzles or memory games. And while those things can help, what actually matters even more is movement. Physical activity doesn't just strengthen your muscles and heart, it improves blood flow to your brain, which helps keep your memory strong. It also reduces inflammation and supports the growth of new brain cells, especially in the parts responsible for memory. But this doesn't mean you need to join a gym or start running marathons. A 20 to 30-minute walk, most days of the week, is often enough to make a noticeable difference. Even gentle stretching or dancing in your living room can be a great way to get your blood moving. The key is consistency. The more regularly you move, the more your brain benefits. Now, what if you already walk a lot? That's wonderful. But here's a little twist. Try walking in nature. Studies show that being outside, especially in green spaces like parks or gardens, has a calming effect on the brain. It lowers stress, boosts mood, and enhances memory and attention. So instead of just walking on a treadmill, try taking a stroll among trees or flowers. Your brain will thank you. And while we're on the topic of nature, that brings us to another powerful yet overlooked habit: staying socially connected. You might not immediately think of socializing as a memory booster, but it absolutely is. When we talk with others, especially when we laugh, share stories, or listen closely, we're giving our brains a workout. Conversations keep us mentally engaged and emotionally nourished, which supports long-term brain health. Loneliness, on the other hand, is a real risk factor for memory decline. It can shrink parts of the brain and make it harder to concentrate, remember, and even sleep. So, whether it's calling an old friend, chatting with a neighbor, or joining a local group, find ways to connect. Even small interactions can have a big impact. And if you're someone who enjoys time alone, that's completely okay too. Just be mindful to stay in touch with a few people you trust and enjoy being around. Social wellness is just as important as physical or mental wellness. Let's take a moment here. Think about one person you haven't spoken to in a while but miss. What would it feel like to hear their voice again, or even just send a quick message? That one small step could spark joy and light up your memory circuits more than you realize. All right, now let's talk about one of the most underestimated secrets to a healthy memory after 70: good, restorative sleep. So many seniors assume poor sleep is just part of getting older, but that's simply not true. While our sleep patterns do change with age, the need for deep, uninterrupted rest doesn't go away. In fact, sleep is critical for memory. It's during sleep, especially the deeper stages, that your brain processes and stores what you learned during the day. It's like hitting the save button on your brain's computer. If you're tossing and turning, or waking up not feeling rested, your brain isn't getting the recovery time it needs, and over time, that can lead to foggy thinking, forgetfulness, and even mood changes. But don't worry, there are gentle ways to improve your sleep. Start with creating a calm, consistent bedtime routine. Try turning off screens an hour before bed and instead reading a book, listening to calming music, or sipping warm herbal tea. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. And try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. These little habits add up and signal to your brain, it's time to rest. And one more thing, watch what you eat before bed. Heavy meals, caffeine, or too much sugar late in the day can disturb your sleep more than you might think. Instead, aim for a light dinner, and if you're still a bit hungry, a small banana or a handful of almonds can support better rest. So now we've explored how movement, connection, and sleep play a powerful role in memory. And while these might seem simple, their impact is anything but. When practiced regularly, they form the foundation of a strong, healthy brain, no matter your age. And from here, we're going to gently continue our journey, exploring even more ways to protect your mind and keep your memory sharp, so you can keep living with confidence, independence, and joy. Now that we've explored how movement, connection, and quality sleep can protect your memory, let's turn to another vital pillar of brain health: nutrition. What you eat doesn't just fuel your body, it directly nourishes your brain. Think of food as information. Every bite you take sends a message to your cells, either to support healing and clarity or to promote inflammation and sluggishness. And for those of us over 70, the brain becomes even more sensitive to those messages. So what foods are best for memory and mental sharpness? Let's start with healthy fats, especially omega-3 fatty acids. These are like brain-building blocks. You'll find them in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and even in plant-based sources like walnuts and flax seeds. Omega-3s reduce inflammation in the brain and have been shown to improve memory and delay mental decline. Next, focus on colorful fruits and vegetables, especially those rich in antioxidants like blueberries, spinach, kale, broccoli, and carrots. These vibrant foods help clear out damaging free radicals that can age your brain cells. Think of them as your brain's cleanup crew, and don't forget about whole grains like oats, quinoa, and brown rice. They provide steady energy to your brain throughout the day, helping you stay focused and alert. When your blood sugar is stable, your memory is sharper. Now, on the flip side, try to cut back on ultra-processed foods, sugary snacks, and anything with trans fats. These foods may be convenient, but they don't support your brain's long-term well-being. In fact, they can speed up cognitive decline and increase your risk of memory-related issues. If you're not sure where to start, here's a simple tip. Aim to eat closer to the earth. That means fresh, whole foods your grandmother would recognize, real ingredients, simple cooking, nourishing meals. And while we're on the subject of nourishment, let's talk about something just as important: hydration. Dehydration can sneak up on us as we age. Often, we don't feel thirsty even when our bodies need water. But even mild dehydration can lead to confusion, fatigue, and memory problems. So here's a gentle reminder. Sip water throughout the day. Herbal teas, warm broths, and fresh fruits like watermelon or oranges can also support hydration. If you don't like plain water, try infusing it with cucumber, lemon, or mint. Make it enjoyable. Your brain will thank you for it. Now, let's shift to something you may not expect: stress. Chronic stress is like a slow poison to the memory. When we're constantly worrying or feeling overwhelmed, our bodies produce a hormone called cortisol. In small amounts, cortisol is helpful. But when it stays high for too long, it begins to damage areas of the brain, especially the hippocampus, which is where many of our memories live. That's why managing stress isn't just good for your heart or mood. It's essential for preserving memory. So what can you do? You don't need to escape to a mountain or meditate for hours. Even just 5 to 10 minutes of deep breathing, gentle stretching, or quiet reflection can lower cortisol levels and calm your nervous system. You might enjoy a daily practice like sitting by a window and watching the light change, listening to soft music that soothes your spirit, writing in a small gratitude journal each evening. These simple rituals act like mental vitamins. They tell your brain, you're safe, you're supported, you can let go. And if prayer, meditation, or spiritual practices bring you peace, embrace them. Many older adults find that reconnecting with faith or purpose helps ease mental clutter and brings clarity. A calm heart supports a clear mind. As we grow older, the outside world may grow noisier, but the gift of age is that we can choose what to let in and what to leave behind. Let's also talk about something that may feel uncomfortable, but it's important: challenging your brain. You've heard the phrase, use it or lose it, right? Well, it applies to memory too. Your brain wants to be used, it craves stimulation. But here's the beautiful part: it doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to memorize long poems or study foreign languages, unless you want to. Small daily challenges are often more effective. Try brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand. Rearrange your furniture. Learn a new recipe. Take a different route on your daily walk. These tiny disruptions force your brain to make new connections. And that's how we keep it young, by staying curious, open, and willing to try new things. And if you enjoy puzzles, reading, or learning, make time for those. Even watching documentaries or learning a new craft can keep your brain engaged. Remember, your brain is not a machine. It's more like a garden. And with the right care, it can continue to bloom. As we begin to close this part of our conversation, let me leave you with this thought. You are not powerless against memory loss. You are not at the mercy of your age. Your brain is still alive, responsive, and capable of change, right now, at this very moment. And every little step you take, whether it's choosing a healthier snack, taking a walk, or calling a loved one, those steps matter. They build upon each other. They create momentum. And over time, they shape not just your memory, but your experience of aging itself. In our next part, we'll explore even more empowering tools, including the surprising link between purpose, joy, and brain vitality. So stay with me. You're on a beautiful path, and the best is yet to come. You've taken in so much so far: movement, connection, nourishing your body, and calming the mind. But now let's talk about something just as essential, maybe even more so: the power of purpose. You see, science is beginning to catch up with what many elders have always known in their hearts. When you have a reason to get up in the morning, everything changes. Your energy shifts, your memory sharpens, your mind becomes clearer. In fact, several studies have shown that having a strong sense of purpose is directly linked to lower risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. People who feel needed, who feel that their life still matters, perform better on memory tests, even as they age. Purpose doesn't have to mean something big. You don't have to save the world. It can be as simple and sacred as being there for your grandchildren, watering your garden and watching it grow, sharing your wisdom with younger people, volunteering at your church, temple, or community, creating something beautiful with your hands. Even taking care of a pet can be a powerful source of purpose. Their wagging tails or soft purrs remind us we are still needed, we are still loved, and that feeling that you matter can protect your brain like nothing else. Now, let's talk about joy, not the loud kind, necessarily, but the quiet joy that lives in the simple things. The morning sun, a favorite piece of music, the warmth of a cup of tea held in both hands. When we let joy in, something remarkable happens in the brain. Levels of dopamine rise, blood flow improves, the nervous system relaxes, and the memory centers, especially the hippocampus, become more active and engaged. That's why laughter and lightheartedness aren't just nice to have, they're a part of your brain's self-care. So go ahead, watch the old comedy you love. Dance slowly in the living room. Sing, even if it's off-key. Tell that same old story that still makes your friends laugh. These little moments are medicine, not just for the spirit, but for the brain itself. And while we're here, let's touch on something deeper. Many people in their 70s and beyond face moments of loss, of loved ones, of independence, of roles they once held. And with that comes grief. Sometimes silent, sometimes overwhelming. It's important to acknowledge that pain, because ignoring it or pretending it doesn't exist can create emotional stress that affects memory. Grief, when left unprocessed, can become a fog that clouds our mental clarity. But here's the hope. When you allow yourself to feel, to talk, to remember, to honor what you've lived through, you actually lighten the brain's burden. You free up space for joy, for connection, and yes, for memory. So if you need to cry, cry. If you need to speak someone's name out loud, speak it. If you miss them, say it. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's healing. That's love still doing its work. And finally, let's talk about legacy. The truth is, as we age, the question often shifts from, what do I want to do, to, what do I want to leave behind? And in that question is great power. Because memory is not only what you hold on to, it's also what you pass on. Your stories, your values, your wisdom, your laugh, these are imprinted on those around you. You're shaping the memories of your children, your community, even your caregivers. That is legacy. And here's something you might not expect. Telling your life stories is one of the best things you can do to strengthen your memory. When you revisit the past and speak it out loud, when you look through old photographs, or write letters, or record your voice, you're not just preserving the past. You're giving your brain a beautiful workout. You're reinforcing neural pathways, making memories more vivid, and exercising both short-term and long-term recall. So talk, share, record. Even if you think, nobody wants to hear this, I promise you, someone does. Your life has meaning, and your memories are treasures. You are still growing. That's right. Growth doesn't stop at 50 or 60 or 70. It continues as long as you breathe, as long as your heart beats, as long as your mind is curious. You're not at the end. You're at a different kind of beginning. A season of reflection, yes, but also of renewal. And that brings us to one of the most underrated, brain-protecting habits of all, learning something new. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a college degree or a classroom. But your brain loves learning. It craves stimulation. When you challenge it with something new, like a language, a musical instrument, a craft, or even a new recipe, it responds by growing new neural connections. This process is called neuroplasticity. Think of it like this. If you keep walking the same path every day, it becomes worn down, familiar. But when you step onto a new trail, your brain has to adjust, map, explore. And in doing so, it stays sharp, alert, and young at heart. So go ahead. Pick up that knitting needle. Try that beginner yoga video. Learn how to use voice-to-text on your phone. Take up sketching, gardening, or even bird watching. Every little aha moment is a gift to your memory. Now, let's talk about another quiet hero of brain health: routine. While novelty stimulates the brain, routine protects it. It reduces mental fatigue. It creates rhythm and peace. For many people over 70, forgetfulness doesn't come from memory failure. It comes from mental overload or scattered days. So having a gentle, flexible routine can help anchor your day and ease your mind. Maybe it looks like waking up and going to bed at the same time, starting the day with a moment of gratitude or a glass of water, walking at the same hour, journaling before bed. These aren't strict rules. They're soft rituals. And your brain loves rituals. They're like bookmarks in the story of your day. Speaking of gentle rhythms, let's not forget one of the deepest medicines for memory and mood: sleep. Not just any sleep. Restorative, deep sleep. You might already know that during sleep, your brain cleans house. It clears out waste proteins, consolidates memories, and recharges your emotional balance. But what many don't realize is that sleep quality matters more than sleep quantity. So how can you improve sleep after 70? Start by making your bedroom a sanctuary. Cool, quiet, dim. No screens an hour before bed. Maybe add soft music, a light stretch, or lavender oil. And don't underestimate the power of a good pillow and cozy blanket. Comfort soothes the nervous system. And remember, daytime habits matter too. Getting morning sunlight, avoiding caffeine after lunch, And keeping a consistent sleep schedule can all help you drift off more easily. Now, let's take a deep breath together. Because none of these steps are about perfection. You're not here to follow a strict program or pass a test. You're here because you care. You want to stay sharp, independent, and vibrant. And that leads us to the most important truth of all. You are not your memory. Your worth isn't measured by how many names you remember or whether you forget where you put your keys. You are not defined by your sharpness, your to-do list, or your pace. You are defined by your heart, by your kindness, your laughter, your stories, by the warmth you give to those around you. And that never fades. In fact, it grows even brighter with age. So as you move forward, hold this close. Yes, nourish your body, move your limbs, feed your brain, learn new things, stay curious, rest well, but also love, connect, forgive, laugh. Give yourself grace, because reducing the risk of memory loss isn't just about preserving the mind. It's about protecting your joy, your dignity, your ability to keep dancing, keep dreaming, keep being you. So thank you for spending this time with me, for choosing yourself, for showing up for your health, your spirit, your future. If this message touched your heart, I invite you to share it with someone you love. Leave a comment with your thoughts or stories. We'd love to hear them. And if you want more simple, uplifting videos like this, feel free to like and subscribe. You belong here. Until next time. Stay warm, stay strong. And remember, your best days aren't behind you. They're still unfolding, one beautiful moment at a time. Here's to a life full of clarity, connection, and peace, at any age.